All right, guys, we are going to be doing 5 essential core exercises that I believe are going to really help you to start gaining really deep core control and a bit more of an understanding over all those areas I just talked about with Joel that are also relevant to core training. So we're going to start with some scapular shrugs. Now, your scapula, another word for your shoulder blades. Now, the scapula is really important for ballet dancers, contemporary dancers, jazz dancers, where we need to hold a really nice carriage of the arms. There's 2 things I need to tell you first. When I say the word retract, I want you to do the action of, I'll just turn around, pulling the shoulder blades in towards the spine. So I always like to think of retract with the word rewind, so take it back. Yeah, and then protract is the opposite word I'll use, which is where you're going to push into the floor and you're going to allow those shoulder blades to slide from in close to the spine to around your rib cage. And a word I like to think of there is push. So retract, rewind, take it back, protract, push. Yeah. So let's start. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to find a 4-point kneel. This is our more beginner version. We're going to tuck our toes under. We're going to make sure that the weight of the shoulders is directly over the wrists and the weight of the hips is directly over the knees. Now we're going to start with our retract, that rewind motion, squeezing the shoulder blades in towards the spine. And then you're going to push the floor so much that your shoulder blades protract and you float your knees 2 centimeters off the floor. We're going to hold for 3, 2, and 1. We'll drop down. We're going to do 8 of these together. Push apart. Now notice as I'm doing this movement that there's really not much going on other than the shoulder blade movement where I'm retracting and I'm protracting. I think that's 3. I'm terrible at counting. 4. What I don't want to see is that you're losing control of the pelvis and you're lifting your hips up very high. We want to make sure that we're really using that control through the scap. So we've got another 4. Hold. 2, 3, dropping down. We've got another 1, 2, 3, dropping down. Really hollow out through the chest. We've got, that's the last one. 1, 2, 3, and dropping down. Shake it out. So I was explaining while I was doing, but what I was really trying to explain is that I want you to keep pelvic stability. I don't want to see you trying to get higher or lower by using other areas of your body. You really want to keep quite strong and still and just allow those shoulder blades to move via that retract and protract. So what we're going to do to start is we're just going to practice pushing our arms up overhead and elevating our shoulders. So elevating, think of an elevator or a lift, you're going up, so your shoulders are lifting up. Now as you do this, I just pop side on, we're really going to try and gain that control through the diaphragm and the core. So we're not going to pop our arms up and arch our back like us dancers love to do. We're actually going to pin down through the core and lift up through the belly. And I always like to use the imagery of putting on some jeans that maybe are a little bit tighter, that zipped up feeling, okay? That closing of the ribs and pulling up through the belly. So in this position with the shoulders elevated is what we're going to do on our backs. So I'm going to use the couch, but feel free to use a wall or something that's very still. So we're going to push our arms into the wall or couch and remembering to elevate those shoulders. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and make sure that this gap underneath our lower back, that lovely dancer back that we like to hold, is closed. You don't have to be 100% flat where you can't fit your fingers under. Actually, you want to just be able to fit your fingers underneath but still feel that pressure, that internal core pressure through your back. So pressing arms elevate, knees into chest. We're going to try and keep our knees close to us and our feet close to us, meaning we're not going to be swinging our legs around. We're trying to articulate this movement through that position of the pelvis. Now as we push, as we did in the scap shrugs, we're going to roll the hips off the floor. Keep the feet nice and close and lower down. We're going to do 8 of these. 2. Good work. And 3. So what you want to do is peel your bottom off the floor, lower back, and then float as high as you can without any movement of the legs. We're up to 5, I'm pretty sure. 3 more, guys. 3. And 2. And 1. Cool. So if you followed along, I just want to give you a few little tips that will really help you to fix this movement up and do it really well. What I don't want to see is the legs moving, as I mentioned. So what I genuinely see is people swinging to get their legs higher and higher. Yeah, and this plonk at the bottom. What I really want to see is a squeezing in of those feet. You can pop a pillow or something underneath your feet. Actually, I might do that. Something to pop underneath your feet. So I didn't say that you need that before, but I'm sure you can find something around your house. So you're going to shuffle away, arms are going to be elevated, shoulders are going to be elevated, hands connected. So I'll just demo a few. So I'm squeezing down on that pillow to roll my knees off. This can give you a little bit of proprioception or something to feel to remind you not to fling your legs around and lose the prop. Now we're going to start doing some stability and working on upskilling your anti-rotation. So when we dance, there's a lot of movement going on. We need to, like I said earlier, be able to control and stop ourselves from whatever movement we're doing. And that means that there's an element of rotation and you need to be able to block it. We're going to take a nice wide plank. So feet are going to be outside of hip width and we're going to go into that push position, that protract position that you learned earlier, and you're going to tuck the pelvis under gently so that we're in a nice strong core position. If I came around and I pushed down on your bottom, I shouldn't be able to move your hips. You should be able to push against me as I push down. So from here, this is the position we always come back to. We're going to press up and back and we're going to try and tap our opposite ankle and grab it. And we're going to elevate the shoulder like we just talked about. So not dumping down, but elevate, lift the shoulder. We're going to roll forward to touch. We're going to do 8 each arm. Roll forward to touch. Now notice that I am coming all the way down to my plank before lowering my hand. Nice big twist, tuck the pelvis under and then gently lower, which is different to this. Yeah, I think we're up to 2 each arm. We're going to continue. Squeeze through. Pressing up, elevate that shoulder, squeeze through. And what we're trying to do here is really avoid any twisting of the hips. We're trying to act as though both hands are always on the floor and we're very stable. You know, I've lost count. We've got to do 3 more each arm. Let's go. 3. 3. 2. Roll forward. And 2. Now as you come forward, you want to be really protracting, so pushing into that arm that is still on the floor, and that will stop your body from being twisted. Cool. Shake it off. All right, guys, moving on to our 4th exercise for your core essentials for dancers. We are going to be working into our posterior chain, which is the back chain of the body. So we're going to lay on down, beginner version. We're just going to be lifting our upper body up. Hands are going to be facing the floor, and a cue I'm going to give you is roll your shoulders back in space and meet them in together at the spine. So squeeze the shoulder blades together, roll the shoulders back, yeah? You want to avoid having this rounded position because if you try and lift like this, you're going to be putting a lot of stress on the lower back. You're not going to be able to engage the glutes as much because the pelvis and the upper body like to mimic each other, and you're not going to be using that upper body when we start to add the arms. So hands into the floor, beginner version, 8 reps, pressing, squeezing the glutes, squeezing the legs, lifting up, walk the fingertips back. You're scooping up through the belly and lowering down. 2, lower, and 3, lower. Keeping nice and long through the neck. 4, lower, and 5. So it's dynamic in movement, but it's not just throwing and throwing the head out of control. And 6. And 7. Keep rolling those shoulders back. And 8. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly roll down and push back into a child's pose as I explain the next progression. All right, our 5th and final exercise. We're going to now be using all that core strength that we've built and doing a stability exercise where we're standing on one leg and moving. So the beginner version, we're going to pick up one foot. We're going to start to stand on one leg. Now you're all dancers or you've danced to some capacity, so you know how to stand on one leg. You need to be lifted off this supporting hip. We're not sinking down but lifting, yeah? Keeping that belly zipped up like those jeans that I was talking about earlier. The arm nice and long. From here we're going to bend the supporting knee, making sure the instep's lifted, keeping that foot pulled in towards the tush, and then stand up. Cool. 2, and 3. Good. And 4. So we're doing 8 of these. And 5. Notice I'm lifted through the belly, my hips are still facing the floor. And notice that there's only one point of contact on the floor, which means we are working stability and a bit of anti-rotation too. Cool, shake it off. So that will have worked your glutes a lot, done well. So what I want to suggest is for the next 8 to 12 weeks, repeating this video twice a week, where you'll do 2 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions per movement. And you'll notice that you're building a lot of strength along the way. So if you enjoyed some of the work that we did today, or if you enjoyed this style of learning, you can feel free to head over to flexersize.com.au, where we've got 5 online programs that are progressive programs and really focus on educating you around the movement of your body. So there's things like splits programs, middle splits, back bending, active flexibility, and even advancing to over splits, with more exciting programs to come. Once again, it's been so great working with you. I'm Eley May from Flexersize, and I hope to see you guys again soon. See you later.